Okay, Michael, so we're gonna do introduction and interview. Question for you. Let's talk about your hometown village and tell me, what kind of place is it?
But I think the question is, yes, I'm from big city, not from town or village. So, yeah, I'm from big city, from capital of Ukraine. It's Kiev.
Okay.
It's very ancient city. It's like more than 1500 years old. Um, uh, I love it. It's my native city. I know everything very well there. There are a lot of old buildings, a lot of places to see, a lot of parks, and people there are very friendly and nice. So I'm very proud for my native city.
Okay, so you're very proud of Kiev. So it's
Yes,
the capital of Ukraine, very nice.
yes,
And it is a big city, one of the biggest cities in Europe, if I'm not mistaken.
definitely. It's around now. It's around 5 million people.
Okay, so it's a very interesting place. And what do you think? What's the most interesting part of your city?
Oh, it's a very hard question because honestly speaking, there are a lot of interesting places. It's very hard to decide. However, as I need to make a choice, I would say the best city in Kiev to see is Pechers. So the
Okay.
Pechers, it's a very ancient part of Kiev, one of the first one. So there are a lot of old cathedrals like Lavra, and there you can it's one of top city. You can see all other part of the city from the mountain. There are a lot of parks, a lot of historical building where some famous people lived, and also I used to go in my high school there, so I
Okay.
know it very well.
Okay, very good. And what kind of jobs do people in your town do?
As I said, like, Kyiv is a huge city, and there are 5 millions of citizens. So, like, you can find like any kind of job there, like
Hmm.
any major people who can, from yeah, because they have a lot of like, for example, big factories like producing airplanes, for example, or even some optical devices or some food production or the people working in the educational system or you can find any anything you just can
So,
imagine.
okay.
Yeah.
And my last question in this section, would you say it's a good place to live and why?
Oh yeah, it's nice place to live because it's very nice. I would say probably the first argument to live there is that citizens in Kyiv are very friendly. So there's really nice and friendly people. You can always can get help, even like if something happened to you on the street, people always will help you or give you any advice. Secondly, you can find any kind of job you want to get, yes, from IT sphere or be doing business. And there are a lot of higher universities. The climate there is very nice, so it's never getting very cold, super cold in winter, and not very hot in summer. There are a lot of parks, a lot of entertainment like cinemas, movie clubs and clubs, a lot of great restaurants and amazing food. So you see, like there are a lot of reasons why it's a good place to live.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Stop. Okay, Michael, so for the sake of learning, we're going to do the TOEFL speaking test. So part 4, which is an integrated task. And what I want you to do first, I want you to read a passage from a teaching textbook. So I'm going to give you 45 seconds to do it. Are you ready?
Yes,
Okay, 45 seconds.
got it.
Okay, right now let's listen to a lecture on the same topic. So take notes if you want. I would strongly recommend that. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Example of how you might go about this is, well, I'll describe a lesson I observed a few weeks ago. The teacher was teaching children about nature, about plants, specifically about how to identify different trees. The first thing she did was to play a game where students had to name as many trees as they could without writing anything down, just speaking out loud. Then after that little activity, she described the different ways you can identify trees, from the shape of their leaves, their buds, their bark, and so on. But you can imagine that the kids who don't have very good imaginations, they couldn't really visualize what she was talking about. Their minds were starting to wander. They were shuffling in their seats and getting distracted, but that was okay, because next, she showed some photos for them to look at on the electronic whiteboard, then passed around some picture books. Students then copied some of the pictures into their exercise books, and after that, students got the chance to go out into the school grounds and physically identify some of the trees that were there. So it was quite an effective lesson, very memorable, and the pupils looked very engaged. A week later, I asked one of them to describe to me the leaf of an oak tree, and she did so perfectly.
Okay, very good. So the question, and I'm going to give you 30 seconds to prepare your response. Explain VAC theory and how the example used by the professor illustrates how the theory can be applied. So 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to respond. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and start. 60 seconds.
Okay, so in this lecture, the VAC theory was described. So VAC theory, it's theory about the best learning strategies, based on the fact that all people have three type of sensory: so visual, and then listening and kinesthetic. In their example, Professor mentioned the lesson from biology, where students had to learn trees and their leaves. And he noticed that some of students have a very poor imagination. It was hard to them to imagine their leaves just from lecture. Yeah, and then
60 seconds. Okay, sorry for interrupting you, but very good, very good. So I'm gonna start.
What is marketing?
What is marketing? That's my first question here. So what do you think, Michael?
Oh, marketing. It's something about trade research. Yeah. So as I know, I'm not an expert, of course, but as I know, marketing is science about what should be produced for customers would like. Yeah, so you need to study preferences of people. What do they ready to buy? Something like that.
Okay, very good. Good thinking. I like that. So in a nutshell, it's the work of advertising and offering this. So it's basically how you sell things, right? So this is marketing, but very good. And so marketing is about marketing strategies. And maybe, do you know any marketing strategies, Michael?
No, unfortunately, but I can guess probably some strategies like if you want to make an advertising, so you need to somehow to get attention of a lot of people. Yeah, so you need to make your advertisement some kind of interesting thing or something well known that people can pay attention. Yeah, and then they should get interest for your product.
Okay, so it's all about attention. Very good. So I found this interesting resource online, and it gives you some interesting marketing strategies. So first of all, work with other companies. So what do you think? Is it a good marketing strategy or not?
Sure, I definitely agree, because nowadays it's almost impossible to make any business without cooperating with other companies.
Okay, very
I
good.
agree, yeah.
So if you can see this picture here, so this is an example of collaboration of two companies, so Puma and Ferrari. So what do you think about it?
Wow, it looks beautiful. You say, like, as I said, like I immediately got interest to this boot. So it looks, it has nice design.
Okay.
It looks very bright. Yeah, and you see, you can imagine it should have good quality, I think, somehow.
Probably, I don't know. It depends, right? But as you can see, probably marketing works, so it's a good
Yes,
strategy.
yes, I
So,
say I
yeah,
immediately got attention to it. Yeah.
yeah, very good. And so the next strategy, listen to your customers' feedback. So what do you think? Is it important?
It's super important,
Okay.
because if you don't care about your customers, so how can you produce something they would like? Of course, you
Okay.
need feedback. Yeah,
Of course, you always need feedback, right? So,
always. Yeah,
and so
continuously.
the next one is actually one of my favorite strategies from this list. Take a bite out of apple. So, and apple, it's not an actual fruit here, it's the company Apple. So, what do you think about it and what does it mean?
Take a bit out of apple.
Yeah, take a bite out of apple.
Sounds a little bit strange, but no,
It
Apple, of
does.
course, is one of the biggest and one of the most famous company. Everybody knows it. It produces IT. It produces computers and software and smartphones. Take a bite.
What do you think?
Hmm.
Can you think of any other companies that are inspired by Apple?
Inspired,
Maybe they take some ideas from Apple.
probably. For example, maybe Samsung, Korean company that also. Yeah, they also produce smartphones, though they copy a lot of Apple products. So they like copy the design and the example is Samsung, it's a Korean
Okay, so
company.
Samsung, the Korean company. But what do you think? Does Apple copy ideas from Samsung?
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
don't know, maybe. Well,
Maybe, yeah, but
but
okay.
anyway, take a bite out of another big company. So the next one, okay, that's an interesting strategy. Tap into nostalgia or good memories. Nostalgia are good memories,
Mhm.
specifically from the past. So what do you think it means?
Yeah, so I think everybody have nostalgia sometimes, yeah, and it's a very powerful thing, because if you show something, if you use something in your advertising, which will make nostalgia from people, it can strengthen your marketing strategy, because people will get these good emotions, they will be more ready to buy your product. Yeah, it's
Okay.
probably a good, probably a good strategy.
So I'm going to give you an example from my childhood because I was a big fan of the Batman movie, one of the movies by Tim Burton from the 1980s. So when every time I see that there's a Batman movie in the movie theater, I'm going to go to the movie theater because this taps into my nostalgia, right? Some good
Yeah,
memories
yeah,
from
definitely cool. Yeah, I see your point.
can you give me some examples of maybe how when nostalgia kind of brought you to maybe a store or a movie theater?
Sure. Yeah, like let me think.
or maybe some Ukrainian festival, because you live abroad, right? And you
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that-
that's a good example. Yeah, so for example, last year I went for some Ukrainian festival. There was like a lot of Ukrainian food which my mom used to make, and which I cannot do myself because it's complicated. So last year I went for Ukrainian festival and I ordered the vareniki there, a lot of other Ukrainian food. Yeah, so it also definitely they played on my nostalgia. So it was,
nostalgia.
yeah.
Okay, very good, Michael. So, and the last strategy, obviously, advertising. So, what do you think about advertising?
No, advertising, it's to say promotion of a company's product. Yeah, so if you want people to buy something, they at least should know that this product exists. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if they, if they heard something from advertisement, so it, how to say it, indirectly, I would say even. Indirectly play with them. So sometimes they don't even realize, but if they heard some advertisement, they would be more probably to buy this.
Okay, very
so
good.
maybe in something it's even in manipulation, I would say, with with customers' preferences. Yeah,
So it's some kind of a manipulation, right? So you think advertisements are good for people or not?
Sometimes it's good, as I said, because at least people should get knowledge that some product exists.
Okay.
But sometimes it's manipulating with them. So sometimes it also have some negative sides.
Okay, so sometimes advertisements manipulate people. Very
Yes.
good.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
very bad, but very good, Michael. Very good. So stop record. Okay, guys. So we're gonna start with a little warm up. So something fun for you guys. So I want you to choose one option. So it is important to start learning a foreign language early, or it does not matter when to start learning a foreign language. So what about you, Alicia? Which one would you choose?
Just I choose the second.
You choose the second. What about you, Misha or Michael?
I say I don't know even. Like I think both are fine.
Both are
Both
fine.
options are fine. Yeah.
Both options are fine. So for the sake of this debate, let's. I think you can choose number one, right?
Yeah, I probably will choose
Or-
number one.
Okay, sounds good. So, or you can talk about two things at the same time. And then we're going to have a little debate, which is a formal argument. We're going to be very polite and very formal, and the topic. So, when should we start learning foreign languages? Okay, so let's move into the debate. So, we're going to have two rounds. So in round one, right now I'm going to give you 15 seconds to think and 45 seconds to respond. So tell me, why do you prefer this option? So you can take notes. So I'm going to give you 15 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, who wants to start? Who wants to go first?
I can.
Okay, Michael, go ahead and start. 45 seconds for you.
Yeah, so I do think that it's better to start learning a foreign language from as early as possible. Because for several reasons. First of all, when you are young, very young, your brain is just growing, and you are more flexible. You can learn faster. And secondly, at the very young age, it is very easy to get perfect pronunciation, not to have an accent, because at the late age, it's almost impossible not to have perfect pronunciation. Like most of people do have an accent.
Okay, thank you,
So
Michael. Thank you, Michael. 45 seconds for you. Very good. And let's go to Lesia. So, Lesia, 45 seconds for you. Go ahead and start.
I prefer the second option. Just you study language when you're an adult. And I prefer this because now I study German language and I can compare Russian, English, and German languages. And I can understand different things just and remember it better. For example, and against Michael, I can say, for example, I studied English 15 years from my childhood, but I started to speak it only in the USA because I live in atmosphere of English language.
Okay, thank you very much, Lisa. 45 seconds, very good. So, and right now, we're gonna do round 2, which is questions. So, first of all, guys, I want you to prepare, I'm gonna give you 15 seconds and each of you should prepare 2 questions for your opponent. So, Misha, 2 questions for Lisa, 2 questions for Misha, okay? Okay, 15 seconds. Okie dokie, go ahead and start. So Misha started last time. So Lisa, what is your first question?
My first question to Michael. Michael, what do you think in what age I can start to study English if I am a child?
No, I think I know some people who started learning English from the age of 3. So probably it's perfect age to start.
Okay. But you told us about pronunciation. Do you think you have good pronunciation?
Unfortunately, no.
But just you study English language from childhood, yeah?
I started it from the age of 7, so
Okay, I see.
in elementary school.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Any other questions, Lisa?
Just 2 questions, no more.
Okay, 2 questions, no more.
It's not enough time to write 3 questions, just 3 questions.
Okay. So, and what about you, Michael?
Okay, so I have a question to Lisa. So first of all, Lisa, when did you start learning English? From the age of?
I started to learn English at 3rd grade. I was 10 years old. I started to learn it, to study it with tutor for extra money. Just it's not at school at all. And I went in one way 5 kilometers to my tutor.
Oh, wow, that's extreme.
Yeah.
So you also started early, right?
But Michael lived in a capital, not in just village.
Okay. Yeah.
So you think it matters, whether you live in the capital or not?
Yeah, I think just, my opinion that if you live in a big city, you maybe will have better education than in a village, for example, in town education.
Okay. So do you have any other questions, Misha?
Yeah, like Lisa, did you learn some other languages except of English? So you mentioned German.
Yes.
Maybe something else?
I started to study Arabic, but it's too hard because, for example, German I can read already, can translate, but Arabic I should study new alphabet, new reading, new spelling, it's very hard.
Okay. Oh yeah, I can see. Yeah.
Okay, guys, very good. Good questions. And now I have some questions for you. Okay, so the question for Lisa. Okay, so what are some advantages of starting learning a foreign language early in life?
Early?
Yeah, early in life.
But I can see later.
You said later, but tell me, are there any advantages if you start early?
Okay. I think if you study early, you should study maybe several times per week, not once. Because according to my students, I can see different results. And I understand that they have results if they study, for example, 30 minutes per day, 5 days per week. But if a child has only one lesson per week, just 45 minutes. It's not enough.
Okay.
Or in this case, if a kid or a child has just one lesson per week, parents should help him or her to study it, except just not at lesson, on the lesson.
Okay. And for you, Misha, so what do you think? So you think that it's better to start learn a foreign language early?
Yes.
But what are some advantages if you start later in life?
Oh, there are also some advantages. Sure, of course. First of all, the more adult age, you can concentrate better as you adult. Because like small kids, it's hard to make them learning. They want to play or doing something else. However, if you are adult, you can concentrate better. You take it more seriously, and you have some knowledges maybe from other languages, so you can get some benefit from that.
Okay, very good. And very good, guys. So we'll be done for this section. I think we're running out of time here.